Hi, today I would like to share with you how I save money in the UK. Here are the timestamps where you can see what I talk about in this video, so let's begin. So the first section I'm going to cover is food. My advice to you, if you haven't already done so, is to download a lot of the memberships. They are mostly free. I think the only membership you pay for, and you only pay £1, is the Co-op card. But I have apps such as Lidl, Co-op, Tesco, Sainsbury, and so on. And if you familiarize yourself with these apps, then you can definitely make savings. My personal favorites are the Tesco one and the Lidl one. Next point, buy in bulk. So not everyone can do this, but if you have some freezer storage, then if you see something that is on sale, or if you see something that is discounted, or that is just simply cheaper than in other supermarkets, you can buy it and freeze it and just use it another time. You can do the same with cooking. You can cook in bulk and freeze some of the meals that you have cooked and make life easier for yourself on another day. If you know yourself well and you know what you like and what sort of products you use every week, you can slowly start comparing all the supermarkets. Now this depends on how much time you have and how much you shop in different supermarkets or what supermarkets are in your area. However, I actually quite enjoy this and it just gives you an insight, because it can vary a lot, but it doesn't have to. But if you keep your eyes open, then you'll find out. Another one that has really helped me is shop for meals rather than generally shopping what I think I might need. Because if I buy things and I have not decided what specific meal I'm going to make with this, unless it's something that is in a can and it lasts for a long time, but specifically with items that have to be used in the near future, I ask myself, when will I eat this? What will I cook with this? And that really helps me to decide what it is that I really need to buy. If there are some items that you don't need immediately and you would be happy to have them secondhand, this goes for food, but this also goes for non-food. You can use an app which is called Olio, and you can give and receive items for free. You need to be really aware what is generally buying food that is discounted, rescuing food with Olio, and being a bit more flexible with your meals and what you can do with it will help you to save money and will also have a positive impact on the environment. Next is the household category. Something I didn't know is that if your freezer is half empty, it will take more electricity as if it is full. Now, I hear you. I don't really want to have a completely crammed freezer that I can barely get anything out of. However, what you can do if you have your freezer half full is put bottles with water in it. Or maybe, for example, my mom has a freezer with 3 drawers and her freezer is half empty, and I told her, why don't you put everything in the first 2 drawers and the third drawer you just fill with bottles of water, and then whenever you need space you can just take those bottles out. This one is clever, but I don't always do it. So a kettle is quite expensive to run, so you should only boil the water that you actually are going to use, but this is the one thing I don't follow. You can't do everything. A dryer. I was really taken aback when I heard how much one round in the dryer costs. I don't know if this is true, but this is what I read, is that one run in the dryer costs you £3. And the dryer takes so much electricity. I can only urge you to just air dry things. There's so many different ways to do it, even if you only have a small space. Just have a look on Amazon and see the different kind of air dryers they have, because this is a very expensive thing to do. Another way to save and at the same time be good to our environment is to make your own cleaning products. I have to see if I find a video. I've watched a video that was very, very good about this topic, because the reality is that the amounts of chemicals that we use in the products that we buy in the supermarkets is absolutely ridiculous. It is not necessary, and we're just hurting ourselves by using those and spending money that we could save. Apparently, washing your clothes at 30 degrees is almost as good as at 40. So that is another point that will save you money. An air fryer uses less electricity than the oven. However, I guess you have to decide whether you want to buy one, whether you want to make this investment, and whether you have space for that in your kitchen. If you know how much you actually save, please let me know in the comments, because that one I didn't find out. If you do use the oven, it is very clever to think ahead of doing multiple things with it. Like, you could bake a lasagna and bake a cake at the very same time. You could use it more in winter than in the summer, because it will heat up the room as well as heat up the food. And be aware that the first 20 minutes of using the oven are the most expensive, and then as you use it a bit longer, it gets cheaper. When you defrost in the fridge, you help the fridge not to use as much energy. But the same goes the other way around. When you have food that you've cooked and it needs to go into the fridge, if you let it cool down outside the fridge and then put it in there once it's cool, it is much better in terms of saving money than if you put it in the fridge when it's still warm. And I think it's also not good for the food in general to put it in a cold place when it's still hot or warm. Clothes. Buying clothes on Vinted or second-hand shops. Now, if you've never done that, I really want to urge you to try it, because I only started this a few years ago, not very long ago, because I always had the same thought that you may have, that when my clothes are new, I want them to be really new and have this new feeling. However, the truth is, a lot of things that you find secondhand are new or are as good as new, which is what I wasn't aware of before. You can find things that are very good quality, and you can pay the same price as you would pay as if you went to a cheap shop that is treating their employees unwell and treating the earth unwell. So watching a few documentaries about this topic made me realize that buying secondhand is a great option. It's fun, and there's so much out there. You can find such cool things secondhand. Use the Black Friday sale. Basically, Black Friday is only once a year, and there are other sales going around the year if you need something. But what I do in terms of Black Friday, I make a list ahead of time with things that I don't need immediately, but that I will need, and I will then buy them cheaper. If you know a brand, and I do this with brands that are putting out very, very good quality, because as I said before, I buy most things secondhand. However, occasionally I don't, and that's okay. But I make sure that the brands that I buy are brands that put out really good quality, and good quality, if it's new, can be expensive. However, if it's something I really want, what I do is I sign up for the newsletter, and what it does is it often gives you a discount immediately, or if it doesn't, it will give you a discount at a later stage, most likely. What you have to be aware of is not to go down a rabbit hole and because you got this newsletter and they send you lots of marketing, that you begin to buy a lot more things. You have to stay true to yourself and just buy what you set out to buy when you signed up to get a discount. And then once you got what you want, make sure you unsubscribe from that newsletter. Transport. Now, I've made a video about how to use a tube like a Londoner, which I will link here. And I've also talked a little bit about how to use the tube cheaply. So I will just briefly touch on this here. If you can use the bus and you don't have too far to go, or you don't have to go during rush hour. The problem with London is that it's not rush hour all day, but there's a lot of traffic all day. So early in the morning it's not so much traffic, late at night not as much traffic. Because if you use the bus, and you can use several buses within the hour, and you only pay £1.75 at the time that I filmed this video. So it could go up. And then if you buy train tickets either in advance or on the Uber app, which currently you get 10% cashback on the Uber app, then you can use the money that you got back on the next trips that you're going to do. If you live near a train station within London and you want to use a train, you could save money by walking to that train station and not using the bus or the tube. And even if you have to use the tube within the journey, as long as you start the journey from a train station, it could be cheaper just buying a train ticket. Check it out. If you can, travel in off-peak hours. So peak hours are 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. However, this is for tube and bus. Train journeys off-peak doesn't start until 10 a.m. And then back to the tube, it's 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's rush hour. So outside of those times, you pay less, you pay off-peak. And if, let's say, you need to leave your house early in the morning, if you start your tube journey before, let's say just 2 minutes before 7, you will pay off-peak for the whole journey. If you start your journey in the afternoon, only 5 minutes before 4 o'clock, before peak, you will pay off-peak for the whole journey. However, I'm saying tube because if you get on, let's say you get on the bus before peak and then you get to the tube station by the time it is peak, then you have to pay peak. I hope this makes sense. So, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe for more videos to come and see you next time.